Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. How are you doing? You can unmute yourselves. I see Ciara and Estrella, and let's see. David, I'm going to also ask you if you could please go to chat. And if anyone writes something in chat that I'm not paying attention to, just kind of like how you did before, if you could please let me know so I don't have to keep chat up the whole time.
Absolutely.
And just ignore if there's any captioning there.
Okay.
So I'm going to double check the captioning, and if I need to be interrupted to help figure out the caption. It's just weird. Copy this token. Hi, Daryl.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I don't think I have permission to caption right now.
Okay, I'm assign. I want to assign, and I want to. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's going to happen now. And
oh, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, that's what I had to do.
Great.
I didn't know what the token thing was. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. And Daryl is here. And I'm going to make sure. Yes, we can. We can talk about writing project 3. Okay, so let me in fact open that up.
Oh, one quick question. Is it okay if I use a GIF for the image in
GIF?
my essay?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I found a good one from the film to use, which will supplement my essay.
Okay, awesome. Yes, you can use a GIF. You could even use a short video if you wanted to.
You're gonna have to body block me.
Okay, I'm looking at 102. I want to make sure this is the right one that you guys have. And hopefully my dog will behave today. She gets so sad when I lock her out because I'll lock her out of the room. I'll show you. She's right here. See, she's that way is outside our window and people walk by and I have the windows open. Mm-hmm. And so she, if she's not sitting next to me, she will be barking. She likes to sit on the edge and away from me, but she likes to be in with me. I'm like forcing her to stay here. And it's like either here or in the other room, honey. Okay, so yes, we can talk about the writing project prompt first. And we're only doing one. Okay, so I'm going to move over here. This is just for me to know with the video. I'm going to wait and pause for a moment, and then I will start. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. It is good to see all of you. And if you are speaking, please unmute yourself. You are more than welcome to interrupt me to ask a question. And I am probably going to do breakout rooms today. It looks like we have enough people to at least do a couple of breakout rooms. So I just would like to say it's good to see you. I know that you are both busy, but probably stir crazy at the same time. I know I am, where I'm busy. I don't have a lot of free time, but at the same time, I'm kind of ready to go out and do something other than stay at home. So walking my dog has been great. I've asked David if he would check the chat. And so David, if you want to interrupt me for chat, we can. The goal for today is to discuss the writing prompt, as well as I have questions here and a little reminder about fences. I wanted to show you too that what I'm doing in your live agendas, and this is my Monday, Wednesday live agenda, but it's the same one for Tuesday, Thursday, is that you'll see that I continue to add the checklists here. And then I have all the Kahoots for this particular unit here. And then here were the Zoom questions for the last session. And here are the Zoom session questions for the next one. And what's going to happen is once we start our drama unit, I'm going to start over so that you can just scroll down to the actual drama unit. So we are still, again, using our live agendas. And I would like to, this is a friendly reminder, please make sure you have passing. That is going to be what we're going to read for our novel. And I've had students in my other classes who've waited to get the texts that they need, and that's a problem. So please make sure you do that. The film Fences is on Amazon. You can rent it. I made a request to a librarian who might have another link to use, but please don't wait for that. And I really recommend you see the film in one sitting if you can, at the most two, so that you can really kind of, there's more impact if you see it all together. And then again, I have the link for the Fences voice thread. Please make sure you are participating. I put the videos only on Canvas because I had a problem adding them to the voice thread, so that's why they're not there. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about those logistics before I get to the writing prompt?
No, ma'am.
Hi, Demarie.
I miss.
It's good to see you. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is go to the writing prompt. I'm gonna read it out loud. And like I said, for our class, I cut out quite a bit of this unit because we lost a week. So you are only writing on fences. Okay? So this is the prompt. August Wilson's award-winning play from, oh, this is great. I have an opportunity to fix this. And there we go. From the Pittsburgh Cycle Fences explores various viewpoints regarding what is feasible to achieve based on race, using post-colonial and race studies. And I put post-colonial in parentheses because post-colonial and race studies, they're together, but they're also separate. So you could focus just on race studies, or if you want to focus on it together, you can. It's up to you. Or Marxism, or both. Interpret how the characters of Troy and Corey are both informed by their own experiences growing up, and analyze why they are in conflict with one another. Please use at least one source beyond the play, Parker, and a visual. Okay. Now, before I move down, scroll down to the parameters, does anyone have a question about the actual prompt?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so your length is, you could do this much, but I want to remind you that I cut the length to 1,500 words. Notice there's a little plus there. Some teachers like to keep you within a specific word count. I'm okay if you go over the word count. It's really important that you ask a teacher about that if they give you a parameter and there is not a plus. Sometimes, depending on what the project is, teachers want to keep you within a certain word count on purpose. And even when I've applied for jobs, there have been like I've written a really long thing and I've had to cut it down. If you have gotten over the word count, it's really important that you go back and see if there is something you can cut out. But I'm okay if you go over the word count. But I would like to remind you, I'm not changing it here because I don't want to mess up this prompt for future semesters, but you are allowed to keep your word count at 1,500 1,500 square, 1,500 words, excuse me, which is a page less, okay? You need to use fences. You need to use the terminology from Parker, the theory, and I should put and or. And then you need to use one scholarly source beyond these, either ones that have been assigned or from the library, so you can check the library out. And then I want you to add a visual. And again, the visual can be a still visual. It can be something you create. It could be something you find. It could even be a short video. But you need to make sure you incorporate it within your essay and not at the end. And we've gone over the incorporating visuals handout. This is a good reminder. And then you must follow MLA format, and please stick to the third person. That means no personal pronouns, I, me, you, etc. Okay, so I am in Canvas. Let's see. Excuse me while I go to our class here. So I want to remind you that I am asking you for just a final draft here, but because we lost that week, but I do recommend that you do the pre-writing that I suggested. And then right here is a peer review, which is optional. It shows 0 points. And you will get extra credit though if you do it. So you do a peer review, I will give you between 20 and 30 points. So if you need that extra credit, go ahead and do that. And where you state that you would like a peer review or you're willing to do one for extra credit is in this discussion forum right here, which tells you exactly what to do, okay? You could also use Pronto and say, hey, I need a peer review. Nobody's responding. Can you please, you know, and there may be somebody who's willing to do 2 or 3 peer reviews. And maybe you don't want to do a peer review on somebody else's and you just want somebody to do one for you, okay? If you do the peer reviews, you will get extra credit. And I want to remind you that doing peer reviews actually helps your writing get better. So when you see somebody else's writing, it makes your writing stronger because you're like, oh, I didn't consider it that particular way.
Professor.
Yes.
The peer review comes with the handout, right? You're gonna provide the handout for us?
I can, let's see, that's a good question. I usually do a different sort of peer review for this. Let's see, I'm just looking to see if I have a peer review here. I will, hold on, I want to do this now so I don't forget.
And are you gonna make it an assignment on Canvas so we can turn it in on a separate, or we're gonna turn it in with our paper on the same day?
No, there is, if you saw there, the optional peer review, that is the assignment. So you turn it in there. There's the discussion forum saying I need one, or you can use Pronto. And then there's also the other. So I'm gonna assign you a bare bones peer review.
Okay. Is it due the same day as the paper?
If you, it's extra credit. So yes, you can turn it in as late as that if you'd like.
Okay.
So this is a bare bones peer review questionnaire. This is not specifically for your writing project. However, I would suggest that you look at the specific parameters in yours. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually write that right now. I'll do this here. Thank you for that question, because that actually, there we go. I'm going to add one more item here. And Zoom is always slow, so excuse me for, all right. Look at it. Okay, so, all right. I am going to take this here, and I will link that in.
All right, thank you.
You are welcome. I'm going to link it into, not the paper itself, I'm going to link it into the live agendas.
Okay.
And sorry, as you notice, that's the biggest problem with Zoom is that there's always that little delay.
Miss, so I had Renee has a question.
Okay, go ahead and ask it. I can do both at the same time.
No, this was the interpreter. I was just making sure the deaf person could see me.
Oh, okay.
You could just ignore me.
Okay.
Sorry.
That was Demarie. Being helpful. Thank you, Demarie. I appreciate
No problem. But I did have a question. Let me
All
go to it real
right.
quick.
Yes, go ahead.
Let me go to it really quick. So there we go. The graphic organizer in week 2. Let me see. Hold up. I'm week 2. What am I talking about? For week 12, I mean. For what was it? Fences. There we go.
Yeah,
I was kind of lost. So like, what does it mean by person versus person? Like, is it talking about like?
you're
fucking-
talking about conflict. You're talking about the conflict, right?
Yeah. The
Okay.
conflict organizer.
Right. So person versus person versus versus an internal conflict, or person versus society. So a person versus person would be a direct conflict between one character and another, such as Troy and Rose.
Mm.
Okay, Troy and Corey, you and your mother, whatever, versus an internal conflict. You might be having a conflict within yourself. There might be a conflict that society causes, such as at the time, obvious conflicts arose due to racism, due to sexism, and those types of things. So based on certain laws, for example.
So, Professor, an internal conflict would have been like for Babylon Revisited. It would have been like Charlie with his alcoholism and how his struggles were.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Perfect.
Thank you. I was just trying to figure that out.
Right. Okay, so I am just adding the peer review here while I'm answering questions. I'm multitasking like I always do. We are going to do the breakout rooms in just a minute. I'm going to read the questions out loud. Those are the questions that I sent via email yesterday on the announcement. If you haven't written them down, I recommend you do so in just 1 minute after I do this. While I'm reading them aloud, just jot them down so that you can be ready to discuss. And please understand. Any other questions while I'm trying to do this one last thing?
Oh, Oh, you said we only had to do for the drama mapping, not drama mapping, the conflict one, we only have to do 3 out of the 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I couldn't find any person versus nature.
Right. Right.
That would be more like the Revenant.
Yeah.
Oh, the movie?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, sometimes nature it has its own character.
Mhm.
They may not be called a character, but like I think of Twister, the movie, with the Twisters, the
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually can be more like problematic than the actual people.
Well, and technically, I mean, this would be a stretch, is that Troy has this deal with the devil and death, right?
Mhm.
We technically call that nature, that he's
Yeah.
trying to fight death. And
Especially because he ends up losing.
well, we all do, right?
Hmm. In the end.
In the end, we all, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a conflict, though.
Hmm.
Sometimes people are ready to go. Some people are okay with, with death.
Yeah,
Right.
with departing.
Right. And sometimes people get to that place as well. Okay. I think I'm just about here. It took all that time just to scroll down because Zoom is slow. Okay.
Miss, I got like one more question. Sorry.
No, please don't apologize for your questions. That's why we're here.
For
Questions are intelligent.
do you think you could email me the week 12 working checklist? Because I couldn't. I don't see it in our Canvas.
It's in live agendas,
Oh, it's in live agendas. Okay.
and we're in week 13. Just a reminder.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to send it in the checklist in because I couldn't find it.
Oh, it should be on Canvas. It's not there?
No, when on the modules, I know it said like look in the modules, and I went up and down the modules looking for it, but I couldn't see
Okay.
it.
All right. Send me an email, Demarie,
Okay.
because I have 2 meetings after this. Oh, for goodness sakes. I'll fix that part later. All right, let's go back here. All right, so I'm going to read the questions aloud. If you did not write them down or take a look at them, please quickly.
Where are these questions at?
These questions are in the live agendas.
Okay.
And remember, we're still using the live agendas. The checklists, handouts are there. The Kahoot challenges are there. Voice threads there. We're still using our live agenda since that's where we started. So it's our kind of common space for specific things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these questions are at the bottom of the live agendas. Okay.
Zoom questions.
Yes, Zoom questions for 413 or 414. So the first question is, what does the title mean? Question number 2, how have things seemed to improve for Corey regarding race as compared to his father? I want to pay close attention to the fact that this takes place in Pittsburgh, which is considered the North, okay, not the Deep South. So, and it's prior to the Civil Rights Acts of the 1960s. Okay, so
It is in Pennsylvania, right?
yes.
Okay.
And then number 3, discuss how the view of masculinity within Maxon's family causes conflict. Number 4, how do the worldviews between father and sons cause conflict? Number 5, what is Rose's view of family? How do her views keep the family together? How do her views require her to sacrifice as the matriarch of the family?
And these are the questions that we could answer in our paper?
These are, well, yes and no. These are the questions you're going to do in your breakout room. I'm going to have you do a breakout room in just a minute, and I'll share how that works, okay, in Zoom. Don't worry, Clarissa, you'll be guided.
Okay.
Okay. No. These are questions that, yeah, they do help you as you prepare, but they're not, this is not the essay prompt. This is not the writing project prompt. Okay. These are the questions that I would like you to discuss in your breakout rooms. Okay, so what's going to happen is I am going to create a breakout room for you all. As soon as I can get, there we go. There's going to be a breakout room, and what's going to happen is I will tell you, the interpreters, I'm going to move you around if you are in the wrong breakout room. So just hold tight. What's going to happen is I think I am going to do 2 breakout rooms, not 3, because we have less people than the 15. So what's going to happen is I'm going to create these breakout rooms, and I would like you to discuss the questions, and I want you to take yourselves off mute and feel comfortable to talk among yourselves. I'm going to give you 7 to 8 minutes, and then what will happen is I will send an announcement that says you have 2 minutes left. And then I will send another announcement that you'll see that says I have 1 minute left. But you do have to, when you're invited, please go to the breakout room. So you're going to leave our session and you're going to go to the breakout room. Okay? And you're going to use these questions to help guide. And I'm going to ask, depending on who's in the breakout room, somebody just be a facilitator. Okay? Be a facilitator, take leadership. And if there are 2 or 3 people who want to do that, fantastic. Then you all take leadership. Okay?
Professor,
Yes.
I don't think I did this last week. We did this last week?
Nope, we didn't do this last week. This is
Oh, okay, because I don't know what this break room is.
We're going to see it in just a minute. I haven't started it. So
Okay.
right now I'm going to create breakout rooms, and you'll see something that invites you to them. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Yes. Okay. It worked out perfectly. Awesome. So, 2. Okay. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm going to open the rooms right now, and you will be able to join. Please go ahead and join.
We have returned.
Got it. Thank God. I was like, oh God.
Hi there.
Hi, Professor.
How are you?
We're good.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask the questions, and I want to invite everybody to please participate. Just make sure you unmute yourself. And I don't want you to worry about being completely accurate. We're going to meet for maybe another 5 to 10 minutes total. So that's all right. So let's talk a little bit about what does the title mean?
The title will mean the limit that each character has, as in not being probably able to have a connection with the other characters in a type of way, since they grew up in a different year, or probably like different point of view of society.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Does anyone want to add anything to that?
Well, me and my group discussed that the title fences also kind of pertains to Troy's own mental fence that he uses to keep out views that differ from his own. And it kind of represents he believes that his own opinions are safe and he wants to build that fence around them. And he wants to keep everything that disagrees with him, contradicts him, or threatens to change those things with like a mental fence.
Okay. All right. So it is both a physical fence. You see that August Wilson has Rose is the one who asks for the fence, and throughout the entire time they're working on the fence, right? And by the end they finish it. And then it can be metaphorical. And what's wonderful is that you can talk about what it means for Rose, what it means for Troy, what it means for Corey, and have an answer for all of those, okay? And even about society and race, right? You know, Rose would like to keep her family together, right? And she doesn't want steps or halves or anything else. And so she wants this fence to sort of protect her family, protect her version of the American dream, whatever she can collect in on. So think about that title, and it's something that you can write about in your writing project as well. All right, so how things seem to improve for Corey regarding race as compared to his father. What did you guys discuss for that?
For my group, we discussed that the racism between Corey and his father was that there's like a different bridge between. So for Corey, regarding with race, he's more accepting to it. He's more willing to say like, okay, I know my place. This is who I am, and he's I forgot how he said, but he's like the only one, or if not, he is the one on the football team.
Hey,
While his dad
hey,
is.
did she ever respond back?
Oh,
Asia.
Bernice, we can hear.
all right. Demarie, go ahead.
What was I saying again? While his father is more like, oh well, they can't accept me for who I am. He's more like filled with malice towards it, because he's pretty much been abused and been surrounded by racism all his life, and is like, and he doesn't want to like force it onto his son, so he tells him like, hey, just don't join the football team. You're better off just staying at home. While his son is more just his son just really wants to like be out there. He wants to be the one. He, dang, I forgot the word, but it's like more outgoing. There we go.
Right. Well, you know,
While
Corey experiences racism. You're absolutely right, Demarie. Corey experiences racism. It's just different. And so for Troy, he wasn't even allowed to play, and he wanted to, right? That's why he's so frustrated by, you know, Jackie Robinson. If you don't know who Jackie Robinson, you should look him up. Jackie Robinson actually went to the community college I went to, which is Pasadena City College. And if you've never seen the film 42, you might want to take a look at that. It's the story of Jackie Robinson. But Troy's frustrated because he was not given the opportunity to play, and Corey was. So it doesn't mean that there's still not racism. In fact, there's still, there was still horrible racism going on. But Corey had an opportunity that was different than his father. And so, but his father, both from jealousy as well as this desire to protect his son, didn't want to allow his son to participate. Thank you very much for that. All right, so let's, we have just a couple more minutes. Let's discuss how the view of masculinity within the Maxon family causes conflict. Can somebody share? And make sure to unmute yourself.
I think, oh, I'm sorry. Was somebody going to say something?
I don't know. You go ahead.
Oh, dang. All right. Well, for within the Maxon family, the way like how I can see it, I know David also said this too, was that what's his name again? Troy. Troy wants to stand up on top, show everyone that he's like the breadwinner of the family. So, you have to abide by these rules. You have to go by what I say. And in the beginning, when he was talking with, dang, what was his name? His friend, I forgot his name. In the garden, how he was acting all flirtatious and hugging all up on Rose, and it's like he's showing like a very like masculine side, even like towards in front of his friend. While within for Corey, he's more like a friendly person. He's he doesn't want to he's not, I don't think you can see him as like the violent type, like, or as like, hey, we should do this or we should do that, like a demanding person. He's more sensitive and like willing to cooperate. Because there was also a scene in Fences where he asked his mom. He told his mom that he was going to practice, and she got mad and said, "You're supposed to stay here and do the fences." And I think in the text it said he was trying to avoid the question, making sure she understood him. I forgot the other son's name. Ah, jeez, I gotta relook at it again, Miss.
It's all right. If you're not talking, make sure to mute yourself. We're hearing some background noise. Thank you. All right. So the other thing is, if you look at both of the sons, both Lyons and Corey, they both want to follow their own dreams, whereas Troy has this idea of what it means to be a man, and it's not to be a musician, and it is to listen to your father and not go against what your father has to say. And yet the irony, though, of the whole thing is that the only reason why Troy has a house is because of his brother Gabriel and the accident that happened that caused him not to be able to work. That money was used to buy a house. And so he wants these ideas of masculinity to work, but they're only his ideas. And he has trouble with his sons who want to live their own lives. Let's go to question number 5, and then we need to end because I'm trying to respect the 45-minute guideline here. So what is Rose's view of family? And how do her views keep the family together? And how do her views require her to sacrifice as the matriarch?
Well, I think that Rose views the family unit as basically the basis for everything, and that the purpose of family is to stick together no matter what. And you can see that in that she's always trying to like get Troy and Corey to communicate with each other and to work together as a family. And for her, how her views keep the family together is that I see Rose as pretty much the family's rock. It's like Troy may be the breadwinner, but she's the rock. She's the one that's like, okay, you cool down, you go to your corner, and when you're ready to talk, come back together. And she has to sacrifice a lot, which is like shown in the last part of the play, because she gives everything to Troy and to her family. She breaks her back to do the housework and cook and clean and basically make sure that everybody's getting along, and it's not acknowledged a lot by her family. It's really not. They really do take her for granted. So for Rose, you know, her view of family is that these are the people who are supposed to love you no matter what, because nobody else in the world is going to love you except your family.
True.
Well, and also, she stays married to Troy, and she raises Raynell as her own. However, she makes it very clear that she's no longer going to be in a romantic relationship with Troy. And she also makes it clear that she's going to make choices about how she's going to spend her time. So when she goes and volunteers at the church, which is where between Raynell and the church, that's where she's getting her emotional support. She doesn't allow him to talk back, although she does keep the family together at the end. And in that way, I actually really admire Rose, because she's there for Raynell, but at the same time, she ultimately says, "You're a womanless man. I'll be here," but but then at the end, she wants everybody to go to his funeral and make sure wants Corey to go to his father's funeral. So she is somewhat forgiving of Troy towards the end there.
I think I wrote a little bit about that in my drama mapping assignment, is that she recognizes that despite the things that Troy has done to take advantage of her and treat her poorly, she does recognize that her life has been good with him in it.
Right.
And that there are many other alternatives to that. And I think Gabriella just stated in the chat that the structure and she wants to maintain the structure or image of a mother no matter what the family goes through.
Right. Yes. And that's what's expected of women. And I would even argue that even these days, that's what's expected of women. And we'll see if this current generation of young women changes that or not. So, all right. It's been lovely to see you, and I hope I videotape this. I will you if I have. I think I have. And we will do this again next week.